Okay, so let's start sitting. So a comfortable seat. Just close down the eyes for a moment and start to drop in. Drop in, notice any physical sensations that arise. Leaving behind, focus on the kind of mental plane, thoughts, and logistics and planning. Leave that behind and just take that energy and attention and drop it into the physical space now. What's arising just in your pure physical experience? It can be something you feel in your body or something you hear, just the sound of my voice, the smell of incense, or just the darkness behind the lids of the eyes. Any residue of taste in the mouth, coffee, tea, anything. Feeling of fabrics on your skin. Just let them all kind of wash over you, all of these stimulations of your sensory experience. And at any time when you're feeling the mind racing or overwhelmed with thoughts, you can just drop into the physical experience. And that's how we enter the here and now, is through the physical experience. So just start adapting this very simple practice so that you can balance out the activity of the mind with the physical here and now, present moment. Take 3 deep breaths. Bring your hands to heart center. And now take a moment to find some way to ground your practice. So some kind of intention or wish, your heart's deepest desire. We're just sending the practice and its positive energy to someone you love, someone who's suffering. Whatever moves you today, just formulate an intention around that. Okay, and then let go of the intention. I'm going to introduce a mantra. This is a Sanskrit mantra, and this is to the deity Ganesha. Ganesha is the elephant-headed god who is the remover of obstacles. It's a wonderful mantra to work with. It helps all sorts of ways in which we become blocked to clear, from the very deep emotional things that block us to our physical blocks, or if you're waiting in the ferry and you're not sure if you're going to get the car on. Any of these things. I've used this mantra waiting in line on the ferry a number of times and it works. Okay, so let's just chant Om together first. Take a deep inhale. Just do call and response. So I'm going to go once all the way through, and then I'm going to do call and response. So listen all the way through, and then I'll break it down into 3 parts. Okay, so listen once. Om Gam Ganapataye Namaha. Okay, now repeat after me. Om Gam Ganapataye Namaha. Again, I'll make it a little longer. Om Gam Ganapataye. Om Gam Ganapataye. Namaha. Namaha. Now we'll go all the way through the whole thing 3 times, call and response. So I'll chant it, you respond, I'll chant it, you respond, and 3 times like. Om Gam Ganapataye Namaha. 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 Just let the mantra resonate inside of you for a moment. Okay, so now you can release your hands and open your eyes. So you have a setup behind you. So we have a bolster with a block under it. And then we also have a blanket. I am terrible with this air conditioning, right? What about you're too cold? You can also take an extra blanket.
Yeah, okay.
I'm like terrible with the control.
It's hard to. It's different.
I was very warm here when I first got here this morning.
Yeah.
Okay, so you're gonna take this blanket rolled up into a long tube that's beside you. And you can thread it behind your back, between your back and then the bolster behind you. All right, and then we're gonna take the feet and bring the soles of the feet together, but keep a nice wide space between the legs. And then you're gonna use this blanket to support under the thighs, so that when you come into this kind of open-legged pose, then you have support under the thighs, so the knees aren't just hanging in space. If this feels, this little donut action is very cool. I love this. If this feels like you need more, then there are some props behind you, like these cushions here, and you can stack that as well. So that's going to be even more supportive, and you can put a little bit more there. But don't be shy to extend the feet kind of away from you, so you have some more space here. And then we're going to have the bolster just right up against the lower part of the back. And then we're going to slowly just come to drape ourselves. But the back is lifted up with a block. I'm going to come and just check it out for you and make sure you're kind of set up comfortably. So move around and make it so that it's supportive. Like good on your legs. Okay. You want an extra one under your head? Anyone want an extra color? Okay. All right, so just take some deep breaths as you settle in to this Supta Baddha Konasana reclined butterfly pose. And this is really just gets into opening chest, the inner line of the thigh, the whole groin area. The entire hip is externally rotating. And allow your shoulders to drape down so that the heart center starts to open. And this can feel quite vulnerable for some. Sometimes we walk and we're kind of punching our shoulders towards the front of our body in a kind of protective stance, protecting the heart. So when we come into this really open-chested position, sometimes these feelings of being exposed or being vulnerable can come up. But you're in a safe space. And so instead of feeding the fuel of this notion or idea of being exposed or vulnerable, you can just watch those feelings kind of drift by like clouds moving through the sky. Check out sensations you feel. And particularly notice any tension. Notice resistance. Wherever you feel this resistance, this tension, you can then plant the seed of the mantra there to remove the obstacle. Om Gam Ganapataye Namaha. So you can do this silently in your own mind, and you can use it as much as you like. The more you repeat the mantra, the more power it gains for you. You kind of work towards unlocking the full potential of the mantra. And then when you plant the seed of the mantra right in the area of tension, it's a way of consecrating the body. Om Gam Ganapataye Namaha. Space between your eyebrows. Let the jaw be relaxed and soft. Take that 5 really deep cleansing breaths, preparing the body to move again by first moving the body by changing its shape with the deep breaths. Take a nice deep breath, changes the shape of the body, Moves the body very subtly. And then after some deep breaths, you can gently start to maybe extend the legs first. You can even use your hands to bring the knees in together if that feels right. Bring it together. Maybe swinging the knees side to side, straightening the legs, whatever feels right to come out of this really deep and restorative pose. Ready, you can start to come off the bolster, maybe move the blankets. We're gonna have to move this whole setup out of the way. So moving bolster, and there's a block under the head of the bolster. And do some windshield wipers. And once you have your props to the side, you can spread your feet about the width of the mat. And gently swing your knees back and forth. So as the one knee comes in towards the center, that's going to be your internal rotation. So it's countering the external rotation of just getting some movement, blood flow and chi flow into the area. So when we're holding the poses, we have pressure of the pose and it's not moving. So with pressure comes transformation and change. So then we bring movement back in and there's like a whole new body. It's fresh and new. Okay, so now let's come back to lie down again. So easy going Sunday morning practice. So let's just lie flat for a moment, leg straight, everything straight. And you can even reach your arms straight back overhead. So if you want to scoot down on your mat a little bit to give your arms some more room from the wall behind you, you can just adjust. Give yourself room so that you can straighten the arms and the legs and make the whole body nice and long. Sides of the body stretching. Okay, then you can bring your arms back down along your side. And then you can start with both feet on the floor with the knees bent. And we're gonna find a half happy baby. So the right knee comes bent in towards you. And you can start by holding the back of the thigh of the right leg. And if that feels good, you can try holding the right foot with the right hand. But we want to keep the sole of the foot facing directly up towards the sky. So if that's not available, what happens is if you try to hold the foot, but the space in the hip isn't there, then the foot won't be able to turn straight up towards the sky. The sole of the foot will be to the side. So if that's happening, then just bring your hand back to the thigh so that we can have the sole of the foot facing up. Okay, so now the right leg is in place. Now option, you can keep the left leg bent, or you can straighten the left leg along the floor, and that will help open up the hip flexor on the front of the left hip. Take some deep breaths to settle in. And we have this nice opening in the right hip. And if you have the foot, you can even find kind of the middle of the foot beneath the ball of the foot. Right in the middle there is the kidney 1 point. And as you hold the foot, you can just gently press with your middle finger is probably the easiest. You can just press that kidney 1 point. It's called a bubbling spring and very supportive, helps the chi to flow. Very first point of the kidney meridian, connected with the water element. Observe what's coming up in the body, observe any resistance, tension. And you can meet that with your mantra, or simply with the breath. Om Gam Ganapataye Namaha. Asking Ganesha to remove any obstacles. On the right side. Use these final breaths to release any last bits of hidden tension. You can inhale, find the tension on the inhale, and then exhale, tension rides the breath out of the body. Off your last couple of breaths. And then when you're ready, you can let go of that right foot. And the legs can go long on the floor. If you like the windshield wipers, whatever movement feels right to get the blood moving again. And finding your own appropriate counter pose. And there's no right or wrong. It's just whatever feels good to you. Okay, and then let's do the other side. So you can start with both feet on the floor with the knees bent. And now you can bring the left knee in towards you and start by holding the back of the thigh. So you can let that inner part of the left thigh come to the side of the body. So the leg is going a little bit out to the side of the body. And then if you want to take the foot, you can take the foot with the hand. And you can press that kidney one point, and the left foot now, just the middle part of the foot, just below the ball of the foot. And then you have the option of straightening the right leg. And that helps to open the front line of the right hip. So get everything set up just right. And then when you feel sensation that isn't super intense, you want something moderate. You want a kind of dull achiness, or you want to really feel something, but not so much that we can't withstand it for a few minutes. Or if there is going to be an increase in intensity, which happens sometimes, you want to be able to accommodate that. So if you go too deep into it straight away, then if it starts to intensify, you might have to come out of the pose. So I'm going to come in really kind of conservative attitude of leaving that space for things to open and change and shift, because they will. And try to keep as still as possible. And if you find yourself wanting to move or being distracted, fidgety, you can come back to the mantra. Om Gam Ganapatiye Namaha. Mantra means mind protector. So we can meet intrusive thoughts with a mantra as a way of offering up our intrusive thoughts to the deity that will protect us and heal us, remove our obstacles. Om Gam Ganapatiye Namaha. Take some deeper breaths, preparing to come out of this side. When you're ready, you can release out of that. Just slowly coming out, and then check in, see what feels right. What kind of movement would feel supportive to you right now? It doesn't have to be the same thing you did on the other side. It can be something totally different. And I'm going to give you a few options for the next thing we're going to do. So option one is to come up to sitting. And we're going to do a seated, so you can do a seated forward fold, some things that you can use to support yourself. You can do a blanket under the knees, is really nice. You can also do a blanket or bolster pulled up against the belly. Do both of those things. Do the blanket under the knees. The bolster under the knees, I find these bolsters are not as, because they're flat, they're a little bit, I like the rolled up blanket bed, but whatever feels good to you. So you can do this kind of thing, which is really nice with those two props, blanket under the knees. If you want to do something a little more kind of like intense, you can come into snail pose. So to get into snail, you come through plow. So you lift hips up, feet back overhead, and then you can bend your knees and hold behind the knees. And you can stay there. So if plow and shoulder stand are in your regular practice, I wouldn't necessarily recommend that one, but it's nice for the inversion, and if it's something you wanna try, you can go ahead and give it a try. But make sure you keep your head and your neck totally still if you take that snail option. Then we'll stay here so for about around 3 minutes or so, but just so you have kind of idea. So if there feels to be effort more than, a 4 or 5 when you come into it, then you might want to reconsider. So there's no problem with changing it up, trying something out, whether it's a prop or a pose or whatever it is. You get everything just right. Spend the time to do that so that you can really settle into stillness and explore the pose without moving. Option you could do is you can use the bolster to support your head. That's a nice way to activate the third eye chakra too. Pressure at the third eye. And you'll see those two poses look very different that I offered, but the effect is similar. So it's this back line of the body that we're opening. Okay, so we did back bend in the first position. When we were lying back on the bolster, we had a back bend. So then we had a kind of intermediate release of the low back with the half happy baby. And now we're taking this pose to stretch the back line of the body. So showing our spine, and we can move in those two different directions safely while staying calm and at ease. And the psychic energy of the poses is also different. So when you're lying back on the bolster and you have this heart opening effect, and there might be some vulnerability connected with that, here, as we're folding in onto ourselves, this forward fold, it inspires introspection. It inspires like a turning inward of the mind and intention. So let's worry about the external world. Whereas when you're feeling vulnerable, that's kind of where your attention is. Here, everything's turning in. And you can just think of any past experiences just melting off the back body, leaving it behind. Yeah. You come up, breathing first in the stillness. Very, very slowly, always coming out slowly. Body can be really vulnerable after these deep stretches. And then you can come up to sitting. And just move the props out of the way. You're gonna come back to line of 4, but you might wanna move your props so that you can reach your arms straight up. So let's just take a minute and like reorganize all of these lovely props so that we have face straight back behind you. Take some things up here. Or you can even move your mat down or just move your feet down. Yeah. Now the right ankle is going to cross over on top of the left ankle. And you're going to reach your arm straight back behind you. And the right hand is going to grab the left wrist. And now just lift both feet up and send them to the right. And then both hands move to the right. And your hips are moving to the left. So you're creating this kind of crescent moon shape with your body. And it may not look visually much like a crescent, but it's moving in the shape of that direction. And you can visualize that shape in your mind. And that visualization will help the pose. So this pose is sometimes called bananasana, banana pose. I think a crescent moon is a little bit nicer of a psychic symbol. You can choose. If you like bananas, then you can experience that. And now you're just feeling this whole left side of the body start to open. And this is the side of the body connected with the moon. The left side is the moon, the lunar channel, the feminine. the unconscious mind, grounding and stillness. So we all have this feminine principle in our bodies. It's connected with the yin energy. As well as connected with the mother. Yeah. Any more deep breaths right into the side ribs there. Just any residual tension that remains, releasing from the left rib cage, the whole left side body, through the hip and leg and arm. And then you can come back to that center line. When you're ready, you can just go the wrists and release your arms down. Maybe you want to hug in knees to chest or anything that feels right. You can just lie flat. Might feel good right now. And come into the other side. So we'll start by crossing now left ankle on top of right. Taking the right wrist into the left hand. And then you can scoot the feet to the left corner of the mat. And then pulling the right arm to the left corner of the mat. The hips are moving in the right direction. So you don't have to move the hips, but it's just more the energy of the hips is moving away from the energy of the hands and the feet. So it's like this intention. The hands and feet have the intention of going towards the left, while the hips have the intention of going towards the right. And creating this beautiful crescent moon shape with the body. This time on the right side. The right side is the solar channel, connected with the sun, masculine principle, strength and movement. More of the mind of kind of logistics and planning. It's kind of left brain activities. Also connected with the father, the archetypal father. And just that energy. thing that comes up, whether it's emotional, mental, physical. You can meet it with the mantra. Om Gam Ganapataye Namaha. For practice, you have to yawn. If the eyes start to tear, this can be a good sign of the energy moving and clearing. Breaths. When you're ready, you can release yourself from the pose. Release the arms, uncross the legs. Maybe you want to bring one arm across the front of the chest and hug it with the other arm to just kind of release the shoulder. Feel good. And then I can do it on the other side. I'm gonna come into this next one with the feet on the floor and the knees bent. But I have a block or a bolster kind of nearby, which I can pretty much do just in case we need it. And we'll set this up. Okay, so lying on your back, feet on the floor. Now you're going to cross the left ankle on top of the right thigh. And then you're gonna let the right leg drop to the right and carry the foot with it. So it's kind of bringing the sole of the left foot down towards the floor, but if the floor feels too far away, so the left knee or the right knee stays bent. It's kind of like a spinal twist with the figure four. So if the floor feels far away, you can put the block under your left foot instead of bringing it all the way to the floor, the block or the bolster. So it's like bringing the floor closer to you. Okay, so you have this foot on the floor or the block, and then if you want to bring the right hand to the left ankle, you can, or you can just leave the hand in a comfortable position. This is a really nice hip opener, also with the spinal twist. So the left hip is lifting up away from the floor, but the left shoulder is rooting down towards the floor. You just get it set up just right. And
The head is straight or to the side?
so when you come in from the figure four, it's just the foot dropping down, so you don't have to move the thigh or anything. That looks good to me. Does it feel okay on your knee?
Yeah, I'm just asking about the head.
Oh, the head. So You can turn the head to the left, but if there's any neck tension, then keep the head neutral. And when you turn the head, then you can have a nice twist through the cervical spine. But sometimes people have tense necks and that's uncomfortable, and you never want to push through any pain in the neck. You always want to listen to any kind of tension or pain in the neck and not try to like push through it. So that kind of rule about the dull achiness and sitting with that kind of sensation does not apply to the neck. The neck is like the boss, so always be mindful of that. Same with the knee. If there's any pain in the knee, back out of whatever you're doing and kind of reassess and find a way where the knee feels okay. Okay, some deep breaths here. And then to come up out of it, you bring the right knee back towards the center and carries the left foot with it, and adjust the hips. And then you can uncross the legs and maybe straighten the legs, or provincial legs. Maybe even lift the legs straight up, it's nice. And you can go between pointing the toes and flexing the feet. If you have the legs up in the air. Okay, let's go to the other side. So now the right ankle will come on top of the left thigh. And slowly the left knee starts to drop to the left, carrying the right foot with it. And the right foot either comes to the floor or to a block. So now noticing here, the right side, there's a chance it could be tighter than the left. So don't feel like you have to put the foot in the exact same position as the first side. It doesn't have to look the same, but it should feel about the same. So maybe you have to have a higher block under the foot, or maybe something you need to do differently on this side, especially the right side is usually tighter on a lot of people in the hip. And that has to do with the sun moon channels. Right? The right side is the father side, and that's strength and movement. So it tends to be stronger. And a lot of times where you're stronger, you're less flexible. So it's not really that one side is good or bad. It's just the energies of the different sides of the body. But it could be for you that the left side could be tighter. And there's all different ways and reasons that could show up. So just entering each pose without any expectation of where it's supposed to end up. Just doing it by pure sensation. Because we're after functionality and not aesthetics, especially in yoga. Nice, breathe deep in the spinal twist. You can get spinal fluid moving by filling the lungs with air. And twisting at the end of practice is just like this big reset button for your nervous system. Just enjoying that sense of resetting the body. And you can have the head turned to the right or have it neutral. A lot of times the second side might feel faster than the first side, but I'm timing them, so you just notice that. And it's funny how we perceive time. And when you're ready, you can come back out of it and back along the center line, and just whatever feels good. Stretch the legs, my body long, reverse tabletop or a little half bridge is nice too, makes the chest. And then when you're ready, you can start to just settle into a comfortable resting pose. So you might want to put a little blanket or one of those small cushions under the head, or cover yourself with a blanket, anything that makes you feel comfortable, supportive. If you really liked the bolster under, that we started, you can also do that for Shavasana with the legs straight. It's really nice. Settling in and just feel your body lying on the floor. Feel the outline of your whole body just lying here. Now just relax the body with this guided rotation of consciousness. So I'm just going to name different parts of the body. You're just going to place your awareness at these points without moving anything, without trying too hard or anything like that. Just follow the sound of my voice as we travel around these different parts of the body. And we start with the right thumb. So please sense and feel the space around your right thumb. Right index finger, middle finger, ring finger, little finger, right palm of the hand, back of the hand, right wrist, forearm, elbow, upper arm, right shoulder, armpit, side waist, right hip, thigh, knee, calf, ankle, right heel, sole of the foot, top of the foot, right big toe, second toe, third toe, fourth toe, little toe. Now please sense and feel the space around your left thumb, left index finger, middle finger, ring finger, little finger, left palm of the hand, back of the hand, left wrist, forearm, elbow, upper arm, shoulder, armpit, left side waist, left hip, thigh, knee, calf, ankle, left heel, sole of the foot, top of the foot, left big toe, second toe, third toe, fourth toe, little toe. Now please sense and feel the crown of your head, your forehead, right eyebrow, left eyebrow, space between the eyebrows, right eyelid, left eyelid, right eye, left eye, right temple, left temple, right ear, left ear, right cheek, left cheek, nose, the tip of the nose, upper lip, lower lip, chin, throat. Now sense and feel your entire face. Come back to the top of the head, the back of your head and your neck. Sense and feel your entire head and neck, tops of your shoulders, right side of the chest, left side of the chest, the middle of the chest, stomach, navel, the entire abdomen, the entire right leg, the entire left leg, both legs at the same time, the entire right arm, the entire left arm, both arms at the same time, the entire front of the body, the entire back of the body, the entire front and back together. Now sense and feel your entire body. Sense and feel your entire body. Feel your entire body from top to toe. Just rest here, witnessing the silence. Start to breathe deeply again. Traveling back to this time and place. And when you feel ready, you can start to move hands and feet, fingers and toes. Just slowly bring movement back to the body in your own way, in your own time. Sitting, but there's no rush, take your time. For practice, Ganesha for clearing all our obstacles, and we'll do 3 times together. We'll do the mantra. Okay, so we won't do call and response. You can just join in when you feel like it, and we'll do 3 times through. Take a deep inhale. Om Gam Ganapataye Namaha. Om Gam Ganapataye Namaha. Om Gam Ganapataye Namaha. Do Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. May all beings everywhere be free from suffering. Om, peace, peace, peace. Thank you for practicing. Namaste.